What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Fantasy Island, new Blumhouse movie in theaters now, loosely based on the 70s TV show. Have not seen the show. I've never seen the show. Culturally, I'm aware of kind of that it's an island, that there's a little person that's part of the spotting of the planes, and older dude with white hair who's in charge of the island. And that's it. I don't know anything about it. So going into this, other than that, and knowing it was a Blumhouse movie, so I knew it was like horror-esque, was excited to kind of watch this movie. And it was surprisingly fun. Like many movies that are surprisingly fun, or come out this time of year, or are just horror movies in general, the end falls apart. The end falls apart. But I really did enjoy the premise of it. I enjoyed most of this movie. It reminded me a lot of like Twilight Zone or like Black Mirror, kind of like if you got a genie, you rub the genie, you make your wish. It's like beware what you wish for, because it's all about how you interpret the fantasy that you're going into to this island to live out. Um, so you're following these people. They don't know each other. They each have their own fantasies, so they end up getting different parts of the island. And one of the fantasies is these two dudes, these brothers, quote unquote brothers. I think they're stepbrothers. They get, or one of them's adopted. They want to live like ballers, so they're living in a mansion. There's all these supermodels. They get all the kind of, drugs and booze and all the kind, whatever they want. It's they want to live like ballers, so they're over there, and that's kind of like the comic relief of the movie. Then there's a lady who like regrets that she proposed that. She regrets that she turned down a proposal from somebody that she actually really loved. And then there's another one where this guy always regretted not serving in the military. So they all kind of are living these fantasies somehow. Like, we're unsure. There's another chick who wants to get revenge on a bully from school. So they're all like, they're all skeptical. They're all like, I don't know, are these actors? Are these holograms? Like, what's going on? And as an audience member, you don't really know what's going on. You don't understand I mean, you know that there's some mystical shit going on, right? Like, just, you're going into this movie where it's not like there's going to be practical explanations for this shit. So you go in and you kind of see like they're starting these fantasies and they're kind of enjoying it, and then there's always the turn. There's always the turn where it's like, oh, this shit's, like the chick that's getting tortured. It's like, oh, she's a real person. That's really her. And like you're seeing like how everything turns. Super interesting. Some of the performances are better than other performances. There's some cheese in there, which, maybe could have been a little bit better writing. But for sure, if they had better casting, this probably would have done better. But also, like I said, the story falls apart. So the turn is interesting. Everything's interesting. As I'm watching everything, I'm like, ooh, I want to see where this goes, Now, also, how it falls apart in a couple ways. It falls apart because it gets overly complicated, right? They're setting up all of this stuff. And like one of the big questions that I kept asking, mainly because the characters were literally asking the question when the movie started, was like, how is this logistically all there? Because like some of the people, like the guy that wants to be in the military, he goes back, and like his brother who died in serving in some war was there, and he was like younger, right? Like it was him from that time, but he like actually exists in this thing. And then the chick that had the fan, she wanted to accept the proposal and kind of live out that life of like, what could it have been if I said yes to this dude? And she's like, well, are you an actor? What is this? Like, and he's like oblivious because it's on from his perspective. It's just like he's there, like he's real, he's there. But then like the bully for some reason is like, so these are it just gets confusing. And then there's like this black blood stuff that like some reason means something. um there's like the root, there's like it's part, I mean, the island's like haunted. There's like this spirit in this island, but all the power from this, like the thing that makes the island haunted is like this gem that's somehow underground, tangled up in the roots of a tree. That when you look into it, you see your fantasy. You see like what your true intentions are, or true like desires are. Um, like all of it kind of just falls apart. Like it gets so overly complicated trying to like justify the craziness that's going on, that it never really answers what's going on. Like it never really, like, are these like now duplicate people, that do they only exist on the island? Can they get away from the island? Like when she was torturing her bully, like one of the parts of the torture were like that they posted like the sex video that she cheated on her husband, and there's a video of it, and they post that to his Facebook page, so now all of his people know uh that she cheated on him, or that he cheated, yeah, that he she cheated on him. uh but then like, were we really seeing that? Because it seemed like, I don't know, maybe it did. It just got really confusing at the end, right? Like I was enjoying this movie, I was having a nice ride. It was really like watching, one of those Twilight Zone or Black Mirror episodes where you're like, ooh, like like this is interesting. This is like an interesting concept where you're seeing like these people, and then the stories like ended up intertwining. Like the mission that the brother was on, they're going to stop these drug lords, and the drug lords are the two brothers that are ballers. And then so like that's kind of the turn for them, where it's like, oh, this is how we got all this money. And then like there's all of these kind of this thing where like all these stories are just starting to intertwine and interweave, and just the complexity of it, like I'm trying to follow everything to try and just make sense, but it's almost it overloaded my brain, and I had to reboot. And in the end, it was just it was a fun ride. It got overly complicated and didn't make a whole lot of sense towards the end. It leaves it open for a sequel at the end of it, right? Deplane is a line that's said multiple times by multiple characters, but it sets up one of these characters as being the kind of the analog, or the new representation of what was the little person from the TV show that says, "Ah, deplane, deplane, boss, deplane." Like so, and it seemed like there was another character that said it at the beginning, so maybe they rewrote, maybe the ending was different, where like because it was a female character that said it, maybe she was going to be the new tattoo. But and even how they set up his name, tattoo, uh I mean, was very Han Solo esque, but interesting. Like I would not mind seeing a sequel to this franchise. It's just an interesting kind of premise where you go to this island and everybody experiences their own Twilight Zone. Um, right? Like the premise of it is fine. It just needs to be better written. Like if the people that actually write for Twilight Zone, the new Twilight Zone, and Black Mirror, if like some of those writers got together to write a script for this, I think they'd be able to tie everything up and make it all kind of make sense on some weird surreal level. Where this one, it just was like, maybe it was just rewritten a bunch of times, but it just falls apart. It just explodes towards the end where nothing makes sense. But I wouldn't mind seeing a return to the franchise. This like if it, because that's what movies are doing now, just setting up. Everything is for a franchise. I would not mind seeing a Fantasy Island 2. I don't know how well it's doing. I don't think it's getting reviewed well, so I don't think there will be a sequel. But I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. So go check it out. If not in theaters, stream it. It is interesting. It was like 75% fun and good, and then the rest is bad performance and bad writing towards the end. But that's Fantasy Island. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my artwork over at inspireddisorder.com and save 25% when you use coupon code RTS. Follow me on social media at Ray Taylor. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!